Coming to you live August 11th, Monday night. Say just around 6 o'clock. We didn't get to the reactions right away on Saturday night. Me and Sage, we're a couple young 20-something guys living in the Bay Area. We were out outside land, so we had to come to you guys tonight to give you a reaction as the 49ers took part in their first preseason game of the year against the Denver Broncos. Sage, they lost 30-9. I wouldn't say that there's a lot of things to take away from this game, but we've been really trying to look at a couple guys after hearing all the news coming out of training camp. So we were anticipating seeing a couple guys actually get out on the field in the pad. So, Sage, I'm going to kick it to you, my man. What did you see when we went through the tape Saturday night?
Okay, going through the tape, just to start about preseason, what it is, you get so amped for it, and then by the third quarter, you're halfway falling asleep.
Done.
Right? And in this game, as soon as Gus Bradley's kid, Carter Bradley, came in, you're falling asleep. Your eyes are starting to get a little heavy. It starts to become a tough watch. I saw a lot in that first quarter. I have a lot more positive takeaways than you'd think based on the score, but I'm encouraged overall. Like, the guys who I wanted to see stand out didn't necessarily stand out, but a lot of guys in key spots did, and they surprised me. So I think that's always a good sign.
That's a good sign. I don't know about you, Sage. I was not that pleased with what I watched. And I think a lot of it's going to be related around the fact that the 49ers are dropping like flies, and obviously we're going to get to that. But I don't know. I see a lot of people going on Twitter talking about Robert Saleh's defense is back after they shut out the Broncos in the first quarter. I'm not going to get too excited about that, but you did bring up how a couple guys did show good performances that we're going to have to rely on. For me, Sage, I thought Ben Bartch looked good. I know that we're not diving into the all-22. We're not looking at the run sets. We're not looking at the pass sets. But from what I saw in a couple of the snaps that he played, it seemed like he was doing well compared to the rest of the line that honestly looked a little shaky at times.
So that's what I was going to say, right? Is he didn't stand out to me, but the reason he didn't stand out to me is because they never called his name, which I think has to be a good sign when they're picking on Burford all day. The rest of the O-line's getting torched.
Zakel, bad.
Very bad. Very, very, very bad. People are going to hone on it this entire week, right? If one of these O-linemen, one of these starting O-linemen go down, this team is screwed. Like, it could put your season belly up before it even starts. I get it. But then again, like, these are the backups, right? We'll get there when we get there. If we have to rely on these guys, maybe it's an issue. I think you could hide it more when you have some starters around them, when it's not just pick your poison. And also, the Broncos did play their starters, right? Like, Nick Bonito was living in your backfield because he's a second-team All-Pro defensive end, and that's just what he does. So when you put Spencer Burford on him, it's going to be a stain on whatever you throw out there as long as it's not Trent Williams.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because you always go on Twitter whenever something happens with the Niners, and of course, everybody's going up in arms about everything. And the thing I saw the most was Kyle Shanahan's going to really regret not putting any first-round capital into this offensive line. And like you brought up, Sage, I don't know how many teams just have like 10 offensive linemen who are ready to go to play against a defensive line like
Philly,
this.
maybe?
So I don't even think Philly. Maybe Philly. Philly almost had a bad news today. Talk about some injury news that could have been bad. Leonard Dickinson going down. I thought he was going to be out for a while there, but there was a couple other people that I saw, Sage, that standed out, especially on the offensive side. So we're going to bring up the rookies a little bit later. We wanted to bring it into a mini segment, talk about the rookies, but this guy did slip through the cracks. So Corey Kiner had 10 rushes for 45 yards. We know what's going on in that running back room, Sage. You got Jordan James, who's out. You also got Amir Abdullah, who now just got ruled out for the season. He had a big fumble in that game, but Isaac Arendo also has that shoulder injury. A lot of guys are dropping in that running back room, and you're probably going to have to rely on Corey Kiner to do something in the next couple weeks and maybe even the first couple games of the season.
It's giving you the Elijah Mitchell and was it Trey Sermon vibes where Jordan James. Jordan James supposed to be the guy. Doesn't really show it, gets injured, whatever. Here comes Corey Kiner, who's quietly been the talk of the rookie minicamp from the running back room. Seems like a lot of people liked him. He ran a 4.57 in the combine, but he looked a lot more explosive, a lot faster. He's kind of like a ball out there, right? Like, he has a low center of gravity, was bouncing off tacklers, looked good. Did it behind that shaky O-line. Like we said, was able to, find the hole, find the gap, burst through and just kind of put his head down, pick up positive yards, which I liked. Did it with no quarterback, a guy who couldn't really throw the ball. So it was definitely positives coming out of him. I feel like the offense There was 2 positives the entire game. You want to say Ben Barch too? I thought it was the 2 rookies. We'll dive into them later. But other than that, it was just a mess. From start to finish, just a mess.
It was a mess, and Corey Kiner was one of the bright spots, but Pat Taylor, he had that good rushing touchdown, but if we're going to roll out guys like Pat Taylor and Jeff Wilson Jr., who 49ers fans, I don't know if you remember him, he was on the Niners from 2018 to 2022, had 16 carries last year. Sage, we can't rely on these guys. We can't rely on Pat Taylor. We saw what he did last year. I'm not going to rely on Jeff Wilson to be a guy who could actually be a reliable backup to Christian McCaffrey. So I'm hoping that Kiner could be the guy. I really am. I really am.
The guy in what aspect, though? Like as the backup? Like you'd rather have him than Garendo?
I wouldn't rather have him than Garendo, but Sage, we don't know when he's coming back. I mean, literally the entire 49ers roster is a bunch of guys where it's like, okay, we think that he's going to be coming back in a couple weeks, but we honestly don't know. We know with Kyle Shanahan that he's not going to give all the information possible. As you see what's going on with the Juwan Jennings situation. Sage, it's a little bit funny that Juwan Jennings went out and practiced a little bit today after Jordan Watkins goes down and they're down to about 3 wide receivers. It's a little funny that today's of all days when he decides to go out and suit up a little bit.
Yeah, I think they're down to 7 healthy receivers, 4 of them guys who won't see the roster week 1 or who at least shouldn't see the roster week 1. One of them's pending a suspension or pending an appeal for a suspension. So it's bleak. It got bleak quick. That running back room, that receiver room, it's getting to the point where you're going to have to rely on guys that you drafted, guys who you pick up, guys who you sign this offseason to try and, learn the offense and make an impact. Maybe Isaiah Nair gets a call back. Who knows? But it's just not promising, right? Like Cowing's back, but that guy's he's fragile. He's going to go down at any point, man. At any point with those hamstrings, soft tissue. Jordan Watkins, I mean, high ankle, whatever, call it a fluke, but it's not a good sign. You had your first round pick last year in and out of the lineup with injuries, and now you're relying on him to stay healthy as your main guy. So it's concerning, especially with the Niners. I mean, there's that Warren Sharp tweet that's going around. Like, what is it? 6 of the last 5 years, the Niners have been top 10 in injuries. Last year, they were number 1. The only year they weren't top 10 was that 2023 year where they ran the league and should have won the Super Bowl. So there's something in the Santa Clara air. I know we'll dive into what we think of Levi's later, but there's just something going on. There's a curse, like something in the water, just like they can't avoid it. It's not a 49ers training camp without just a plethora of injuries.
Yeah, and I think the offense was the one thing that nobody was really worried about heading into the season. We know that we had all those big names, the weapons, Trent Williams, obviously Brock Purdy, but now it's starting to get to the point where the depth is actually in scare zone. But not a lot of people. I was not impressed with the offense, but like Sage brought up, we had none of the starters playing. I think we could get a little bit more information about what we saw with the defense. Sage, I know that you've been big on CJ West. I've been kind of riding Alfred Collins. I thought the best defensive tackle was by far Kalia Davis, which, I mean, trust me, I'm not happy to say that. I
was going to say, like, the 2 best tackles were Kalia Davis and Sebastian Valdez. 2 guys who you weren't relying on coming into this training camp at all, who have made names for themselves. I mean, Sebastian Valdez, right? Seems like another guy who people have been talking about, saying, like, let's see it against, like, a real offensive line, someone who's not the 49ers backups. You saw it, creating pressure, getting in the backfield.
I was not impressed, man. I was not impressed.
With who?
With Valdez. I mean, if you look back on the tape a couple times, it's basically some other guys causing havoc in the backfield, and they get pushed right into Valdez. So I don't know about that one. I don't know about the Valdez hype.
I get it. I mean, CJ West, he had one good play, a lot of mediocre, I would say. Like, he flashed one thing where he split the double team, kind of created pressure. I think the defender fell right in. Was it Kalia Davis's lap?
Yeah.
Alfred Collins showed me a big nothing. Like, literally nothing. I mean, they were getting gashed in the run game. I think in the first quarter with him on the field, they gave up 5 yards a carry. They didn't really do much, like, getting pressure. I mean, all the pressure really came from the secondary.
Yep.
I mean, shout out Robert Saleh. I don't care what you say. You could hate on him.
He could do no wrong in your eyes, huh?
I saw more creativity in that one safety that they caused. From the 14-yard line, calls a blitz from the nickel, creates a safety, right? Sends, I think it was Chase Lucas.
It was Chase Lucas, yeah.
Yeah. Saw more creativity in that play than I saw all last year from Nick Sorensen. The bar, right, is at the floor. So it's not that hard to raise it. But I'm just saying, like, it's positive signs that we'll at least have some creativity coming back. I mean, one thing I wanted to bring up, Upton Stout, right? He's been kind of flashing, having some positive signs. one thing that he said was, I got in contact. Like Robert Saleh had me get in contact with Kwan Williams, right? Seeing how he got in the backfield, forced turnovers. We haven't had that present. So I'm just kind of, excited to finally have like something, right? All last season, we were clamoring for it. Like, can we get some pressure? Can we have a design blitz? I think we were bottom 5 in blitz rate, blitz percentage, bottom 10 in sacks. So it's positive signs, it's early, but these are the things you want to see, right? The improvements to the secondary, the creativity coming about. And this is nothing, right? You're just showing a little bit of it. You're just giving the fans a taste of what's to come.
I don't know, Sage. I mean, the guy throws a couple corner blitzes off the edge on a 2nd and 10 in the first quarter of the preseason, and you're hailing him as, oh, he's Mr. Creative. I get what you're saying. Also, do you know where Nick Sorensen is right now?
No. Is he back in college, right?
No. So he's back in the NFL. Special teams coordinator, Dallas Cowboys.
Okay. They could keep taking all our leftover garbage. They could take Trey Lance and then fail there, and they could take him too.
Definitely not a lot of drama going on with the Cowboys right now. At least they know they can rely on Nick Sorensen to handle their special teams. Nothing's going to go wrong there. Guy showed that he's very reliable.
Chase, have you ever seen those YouTube videos where like they take like the British kids and they give them like Popeyes, or like they give them like American food to try, and like, this is the best thing I've ever had?
Yes. The Austin barbecue. I saw the Austin barbecue one.
And they've just been deprived their whole lives. Like, I just feel like that's Niners fans right now, right? When you see just like an exotic blitz, like it tastes like Popeyes for the first time, or whatever you want to say. Like it's something special. Like you haven't experienced it before. So I feel like that's just like the era we're in right now, coming off of whatever Nick Sorensen was.
If that's the case, we got a couple of buckets of Chase Lucas. I mean, I think he had a nice pass breakup in that first quarter, and he was the guy. I think he got sent twice on that corner blitz. Do we give him a lot of credit for just blitzing on the edge with no rusher or no blocker in front of him? I don't know. But I was interested to see what was going to happen in the secondary. You brought up Upton Stout. He was obviously ruled out before the game, and you look at this cornerback room, I guess you could say, with the 49ers, other than Diamondor Lenore, Renardo Green, Upton Stout, it gets pretty shaky from there on out. I was honestly impressed with a couple other guys, though, Sage. I don't know what you thought. Trey Brown had a nice punch out, and Dallas Flowers was a guy where he was rolling around, got RJ Harvey, I think, in the background on a play. Looks like a big guy, pretty long, and we're going to need some of these guys to play snaps. Like, that's just how it works in the NFL. You can't just roll out your 3 best guys at all times. People are going to get banged up. They're going to have to take plays off. So I was impressed with Dallas Flowers. I think that was my takeaway when it comes to the secondary from this game.
Darrell Luter Jr., he had a nice pass breakup on, I think, Cortland Sutton. Yeah, Cortland Sutton in the end zone. There was a lot of bad. I mean, that first touchdown, there was a huge miscommunication, right? Where
that was your boy. That was your boy, Darrell Luter, right there.
Yeah, where Cruel got wide open in the end zone. Yeah. So I think these are the things you're going to work out, right? Like going into the first quarter, you're up 9-0. You're up 9-6 with 90 seconds left in the second half. They scored twice. A lot of breakdowns, a lot of lapses. I mean, but you don't look for that, right? Like I think winning is like your 5th or 6th priority when it comes to the preseason. You want to see like the highs and lows of these players, what they can do, what they can't do, the flashes and whatnot. I think your boy, Chase Lucas, he said after the game, I have the quote here. He said, "Shout out to the Broncos for getting a dub, but we put a stain on their first team offense," which I think is true. It's like Bo Nix, they had trouble moving the ball. They got 1 field goal off the Mac Jones turnover, turn him into a check down artist, which he does best. I mean, 2.8 yards per attempt, nothing to brag home about. So I thought there was a lot of good from the secondary. I thought they handled themselves well. They didn't get a lot of pressure there, but they kind of were the story of the game, like the characters from the secondary, because the D-line didn't really show me too much.
Chase Lucas, calm the fuck down. If you're already calling out the Broncos after having a semi-good first quarter where they had 2 possessions, chill out a little bit. I like the first quarter that you played, but any other takes about the Broncos? I mean, the thing that stood out to me, Sage, I mean, we just brought up a fantasy clip on the last episode. I was not that impressed with RJ Harvey at all. I thought Tyler Bidet looked better than him.
Yeah, he had 1 run up the right side. Dude, these rookie running backs, man, like you just never know like who's going to flash, who's not going to flash. I thought he looked good, but I mean, shout out like Marquis Siegel, because he had him in the flat wide open. Like he breaks 1 tackle, he's gone. Couldn't do it. You could tell he's pretty undersized. And with Sean Payton, right? They're going to run a committee. It seems like they can never just have one running back. Like they had Alvin Kamara in his prime. No, we're still going to give the ball to Mark Ingram, right? When he was with the Saints. So I just think like he might not be in every down. It's J.K. Dobbins too, right? Is the third running back that they had. So
well, they have Jaleel McLaughlin. They have a bunch of guys.
I like McLaughlin. McLaughlin's one of those guys. He reminds me of Keaton Mitchell, the guy for the Ravens, right? Like you get him the ball 3 to 5 times a game and it could be explosive, but when you have to rely on him, then it's an issue. I don't know. Like Chase, you know my take on the Broncos. Like they just don't impress me. I think like they're as vanilla as possible. Like they're not going to do anything spectacular, but they're not going to lose games, right? Like the Sean Payne, whatever the algorithm he's come up of quarterback attempts, passing yards minus like turnovers and sacks, whatever that like scale he has was. I like that's it. Like they don't take sacks, they don't turn the ball over, and they just rely on their defense. And if the defense is as badass as they're going to be, as they're projected to be, they're going to win 9 to 11 games.
I mean, I'm impressed with them, Sage. You know that I like Bo Nix. We brought up the defense, and last year they were almost a situation where they came out of nowhere. But I think they're going to be great, Sage. I think they're going to be great.
Bo Nix? Why do you like?
I just think that he's athletic. I think that obviously Sean Payton likes him because, like you brought up, he doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't take sacks. Like sometimes that's all you need to do. Like it really just comes down to being a winning football player, and people kind of gloss over that fact. That's why you see Caleb Williams. Everybody had him first in the draft projections last year. Now you look at him. He holds on to the ball too long, isn't accurate, and is a mental nightmare. And you see what's going on in Chicago right now. So I like Bo Nix. They got one of the best O-lines in football as well. So they're going to impress me. And I think they're going to run your Chiefs a little bit for their money in the AFC West. But all right, Sage, let's take the shackles off. We know that coming into this first game, we wanted to see how the rookies looked. We wanted to make this a specific topic. Sorry, guys, we're going to chop this up into TikTok later. It makes it easier for us. But, Sage, we know that Mykel Williams was out of the first game. That was probably the guy that we were all most interested to see, right? For sure.
Easily.
Yeah. So it was a little bit of a bummer not being able to see him.
I was
for
maybe
you, probably
Jordan
CJ
Watkins?
West. I mean, what do you see from your boy? Let's just get into
Jordan Watkins.
Okay. Well, tell me, Sage, who stood out to you when it comes to the rookies in that game on Saturday?
I mean, the splash play, right? Jordan Watkins. That one catch up the sideline on, what was it, like 3rd and 14, dime for Mac Jones. But that alone, right, gave you at least some hope because he looks sturdy. Obviously, Hufanga catches him, whatever, but he beats, one-on-one coverage, just goes up straight, torches the guy. You see all the reports coming out of camp. I forget, there was that video that came out. I forget which cornerback he burned in the joint practice, but he had that catch up the sideline. It seems like it's been all positive from him. And to see it in a game, right? To see it happen in a game, it just gives you a little bit of confidence. This isn't that Danny Gray doing it against the 3rd string cornerback from the Packers. Like he's doing it against the Broncos starters with a backup quarterback, no time. So I think that was the guy who stood out to me the most. Corey Kiner, we touched on it. I thought he had some good runs, had some positive, plays behind that shitty O-line. And then on the defense from the rookies, basically just 2 guys, right? I thought it was Marcus Siegel and Sebastian Valdez. That's it. Like CJ West had a play, but I was expecting more from him. And for where they were drafted, like it was a big disappointment from the D tackles. Genuinely like a huge disappointment.
Yeah. So going back to what you were saying about Jordan Watkins, I get it. He had that one pass. Let's be real. Hey, credit where credit's due. What a ball by Mac Jones. We saw some of the bad Mac Jones, but that was good Mac Jones right there. That was a dime piece right there. Shanahan got a little bit creative with him too. He had that jet sweep that he ran to him, had a couple other catches. I'm not going to say I was too impressed, but definitely coming out of camp, especially OTAs, I think that the guy with the most hype around him was Jordan Watkins. So it was good to see him put up some numbers, right, in this first game. But, Sage, I'm going to say who stood out in a bad way. That's where I'm going to go because I think the 2 guys that we were most excited about was your boy, CJ West, and Alfred Collins, because we knew the inside part of that defensive line last year was the biggest weakness on the team. We had to improve there somewhat, and we were relying on these 2 guys. Sage, I saw nothing that told me that these guys could be reliable day 1 starters this year in the NFL. I really did not at all.
I think you're asking a lot for them to come in right away, preseason game 1, and like show flashes that they're Aaron Donald. Like obviously,
But
right?
show me the physicality, Sage. I get what you're saying, but show me the physicality. Jump
I
off the
will say,
screen a little bit.
I saw CJ West getting into the backfield a bit and like slipping through double teams, like doing something, right? Like I'm not gonna sit here and say he's the second coming of Aaron Donald or Chris Jones, right? Like I didn't see enough to say that. I'm just gonna say like he's what, a 3rd round pick, 4th round pick.
Yeah.
He's in his first preseason game, and I saw something, right? I saw something when his counterpart, right, is Alfred Collins, who's doing nothing. The DNs are 3rd and 4th string DNs who are doing nothing, and this guy's the guy getting double teamed. Let me see it with Nick Bosa and Bryce Huff on the ends, and let me see what this guy can do. Let me see how he could work, because all their big runs came to the outside. They're like that RJ Harvey run for 11 yards. It came because he bounced it to the outside. That's on the DNs for not setting the edge. That's on the safeties for not making a tackle. I mean, you want to talk about a guy who stood out in a negative way? How about Nick Martin, right? He had so many opportunities to stop running back.
He's your boy too. I kind of had a different take on him. I had a different take on him, but let me kind of finish off that point about the D tackles, right? Because you brought up that CJ West jumped off the screen. We kind of knew coming in that this is what was going to happen. CJ West, he bounces off the line quick, but I just saw him get eaten up, especially in the run game stage. Like there were a couple times where there were 2 guys on him and he was getting pushed back 5 yards. With Collins, it was a little bit the opposite. He's not been in shape all of camp. I mean, the reports coming out have all said that he's a step behind when it comes to the conditioning side of things. And you could see it stage. There was a play where he was literally jogging to the ball runner. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? Fucking run. Run. Like this is literally like your 10th snap of the game. And looked a little bit lethargic, I thought, in a couple of his rushes, but there were a couple snaps where I saw his power, I will say, and that's something that I didn't see with CJ West. We're going to be like 2 parents the entire year, with my favorite child being Alfred Collins, your favorite child being CJ West, but
I hope we're both right.
I was not impressed with either of them, Sage. I'm hoping that I see a better outing in game 2. Like you brought up, first game ever in the NFL, but definitely a little bit concerning if you're expecting them to be impact players in 3 weeks.
100%. I mean, it's just like doing the most with what you have. And if you're supposed to be right, like a lot of pressure on these guys. We said it from the start that run defense needs to improve, and it needs to improve right away because you got to get off to a hot start with what you have in front of you. And you're going to Seattle. You know what they're going to want to do, right? Week 1, we might be getting
pound the rock.
They're going to want to pound the rock and play defense. You got to stop the run, because that's the only way they're going to be able to beat you is if they run on you all day. It's got to come down to your tackles, because it's got to be 2 guys that got to be better than what you had last year. You invest the capital in them. Alfred Collins holds out the entire offseason. Now he's out of shape. Like you said, he's a step behind. You got to catch up, man. Like you got to catch up. You got your money. Now get in the gym, like get ready, because you can't be half-assing it. I get it. Like you're the 2nd round pick, whatever. You can, jog around. Like you have a little leeway to play with, but when it comes to Sundays, like you better be in shape. You better be ready, or you're going to get torched left and right.
Alfred Collins got to step up, my man. And let's go to the point that you brought up with Nick Martin, because he was a guy that I think a lot of people were kind of split on with how he played in that game. Definitely missed a lot of tackles, but you were saying that you had him over D Winters. You wanted to see him maybe plug in and start next to Fred Warner, but it seems like you weren't that impressed with what you saw.
I was more impressed with D Winters. I mean, you got to put your hand up and just see what, go with what you saw. You're not beholden to a prior take, right? I can only give the audience my true and honest take.
This was your take like 5 days ago, and you said that you saw the tape with
Nick Martin
in college, and you already had him over D Winters, and you said we already know what D Winters is.
There was a game played.
I gotta hold you to it a little bit. 5 days. Come on.
I will say, do you know what I saw with Nick Martin? Right, like he was almost there. Right, like he was almost there. He's like one of those like insanely athletic like point guards who just can't finish. Right, like it looks spectacular. He gets all the way to the rim, but he just can't put the ball in the fucking basket. Right, He was getting in the backfield. He was exploding through blockers, but he just kept missing tackles. I mean, 2 missed tackles. It's not like he kept missing tackles, but 2 missed tackles, a couple whiffs, 5 receptions allowed though, 147 passer rating when targeted. So it wasn't anything to like brag about. Right. That being said, like, look who's around him. Were they getting pressure? Did he have Fred Warner to the side? No. It's his first game. He's a raw athlete, right? I think he played 4 games last year, all of 2024. I think he played 4 games before getting injured. So I can't judge him yet, right? Like, I'm willing to bet on the traits and what I saw. Like, it's encouraging to see him like aggressive, getting out there, like being a dog, but you got to clean up, man. Like you got to clean up. You got to finish your dinner, get home, and then finish the tackle.
You're kind of politicking right now. I'm not going to lie. You're kind of politicking. You're
kind
of politicking here. But I respect it. What I will say is that I was impressed. Sage, I was impressed with this guy. He hasn't played football. He hasn't actually put on pads and tackled in a live game. And I think about 12 months, maybe even a little bit more. So I think that's what you saw with a couple of those missed tackles. On a scouting report, that was the thing that was brought up, though, that he is a guy who will miss some tackles. But I think, like you said, you bet on the athleticism. I saw him pop on the screen. I mean, his speed compared to the other guys that were on the field, Sage, he stood out to me. Unlike CJ West, unlike Alfred Collins, he was actually a guy that stood out, and I like that stuff. I've seen that throughout my time watching in the NFL, that if you could notice a guy on the screen, that's usually going to mean that he's going to pan out to be a good football player. So I'm going to bet on Nick Martin, man. I'm not maybe saying that he's going to be starting next to Fred Warner, but there's definitely going to be some times where you have 3 linebacker sets. So he's going to be a guy who's going to be relied on to play some snaps, and I think I'd be comfortable with him. I really would. A little bit of missed tackles, but I think that's something that he can fix.
I'm with you where I'm leaning more positive. I did see a lot of negative, but do you know the thing is in sports, you never want to be the guy replacing the guy, right? Like, what's he going to be held to? Everyone's saying, like, he's got to be the Dre Greenlaw replacement, right? Like, that's what everyone's going to point to. It's just not going to happen, right? Like, it clearly just isn't going to happen. Dre Greenlaw was a godsend, like an absolute gem in the 5th round that you drafted. You try and do it again with Nick Martin, so be it, right? He's not going to be Dre Greenlaw, but can you just be a solid starting, linebacker? Can you learn? Can you improve, right? It's kind of what you see with these young quarterbacks. You draft them raw. You don't pull the plug on them right away, right? You let them play it out. You see what happens. Maybe you need to get cut by the Cowboys, go to the Chargers, right? To show that you're actually a starting quarterback in this league, right? A la Trey Lance. Yeah. And you're starting to see it now. Just kidding. Just want to get out of Chase's skid there. But you need to see it, right? You got to give these guys time to develop. And like you said, like he hasn't played like football in over a year. So you got to kind of just like let it build. First preseason game. And there were some positive signs on the athletic traits.
Definitely. A guy who also stood out to me, Sage, I think that this is the number one name that's coming out after the game on 49ers Twitter. Is it Marquise or Marquez?
Marquise Siegel. Marquise Siegel.
He was flying around. He was going sideline to sideline, Sage. He was definitely a guy that, when I was watching back on the All-22, stood out to me. And we brought up what's going on with the cornerback room and the lack of depth there. Pretty similar in the safety room. I mean, you got Jair Brown, who is going to be coming back to practice, but Sage, he's injured right now. Who knows? That could probably be a lingering injury going on for the rest of the year. And the guy who came out onto the scene last year, Malik Mustafa, we know that he's going to be out till week 5. So a good sign that 5th-round rookie seems like he might be a good football player.
I mean, the guy was a sure tackler. He was always around the ball. He was flying. I thought he was the best player on the defense the entire day. I think
7 tackles.
7 tackles, 1 away from leading the team in tackles. He was just everywhere, man. I mean, like the 49ers have a history with this, right? George Kittle, Dre Greenlaw, Talanoa Hufanga, Diamondor Lenore, all 5th-round picks, right? Like, did John Lynch do it again? Did he miss on his 2nd-round pick, but is he going to make it up by hitting on a 5th-round gem? Who knows? I mean, it's the story's out on him. Like, did he do it again? Like, it wouldn't shock me, right? It clearly wouldn't shock me, but it's coming in a position that you desperately need. Without Mustafa there, right? Like, you cannot be relying on Jason Pinnock and Jair Brown. You know what they are. You need someone who's going to flash, someone who's going to be a sure tackler, someone who could hold down the backside of your defense. So I'm excited from what I've seen. He did it against the Broncos starters, which is a good sign. They're not the most vertical team in the league, but it's still, it's a playoff team. That's a winning football team that he did it against. So he flashed for sure.
So safety's definitely a position that the Niners are weak at. Sage, I've been watching 49er football since 2006. People may say Ted Ginn. I don't think we've ever had a legit punt returner / kick returner.
Yes.
That wasn't Deebo Samuel like a couple times. Junior Bergen, a guy who we drafted, I think he was the last draft pick for the 49ers. You kind of came in knowing that his only role and the only way that he was going to make the roster was going to be by being a return man. Had a great return. I think he returned about 35 yards, made a nice cutback, Kyle Shanahan shouted him out in the post-game interviews, but is he the guy? I feel like compared to everybody else, I think that he may be the punt returner when it's all said and done.
He had 5 punt return touchdowns in college is what they showed. It was at Montana, but shout out Brant Boyer. Coming in, like making an impact right away. Like the special teams, I'm not going to say like it's solved, but they looked cleaner, right? Like before it was like a don't fuck it up situation. Now maybe we have a little splash going with our special teams. I liked what I saw from him. That one return where he, made the defender miss, took it up the left sideline. Like you said, that's something we haven't seen since we've been 49ers fans, right? Like this has always been an area which they've lacked in. I mean, I wish that they'd clean up the kicker, the punter situation, but from what I'm seeing right now, like it seems like they have their guy. Like you said it, this is the only way he's going to be able to make the roster, but as long as they could clean it up, right? No turnovers, just like do your job, like a couple positive returns here, like actually not be happy about it.
No doubt. Special teams looking a lot better. I do like Brant Boyer. I think they shouted it out on the telecast where they said, like, Brant Boyer's the guy who's going. You could throw Brant Boyer into that kick return team. He'd be ready to put a hat on somebody. So he seems like a guy that is going to be an interesting interview for sure. Brant Boyer. He seems like a guy. Sage. Brian Schneider, the guy who single-handedly wrecked the 49ers special teams the past couple of years. Where's he at? Where in the world is Brian Schneider? Do you know?
I have no idea. Hell.
He is now the assistant special teams coordinator for the Washington Commanders.
Cowboys? Oh, that'd be hilarious.
I'm shocked. I mean, that must have been tough going into the job interview. It's like, so what's your resume? It's like, hey, the 49ers last year who literally had a nightmare situation in every game on special teams? Like, I was running the show there. So,
I was the guy responsible for that.
Brian Schneider, shout out. Hopefully we never have to see him again in a 49ers uniform. But, Sage, that was really it. I mean, like you brought up, first half was basically all that came in when – what's the guy's name? What's the defensive assistant's name? Yeah, when Connor Bradley came in, when Carter Bradley came in, that's basically when everything went to shit, and you really couldn't take anything seriously at that point with the 49ers. But, Sage, a big little adjustment that we saw, we know that I'm going to call him legendary 49ers broadcaster Greg Papa is recovering from a recent cancer diagnosis. So Guy Haberman filled in for him on the telecast on Saturday night. We all know Guy Haberman had a podcast with John Middlecoff, and he's been on the Big Ten Network. He's been on the Pac-12 Network. I didn't actually listen to the telecast that much, but Sage, I know you did. What do you think about Haberman's debut? What do you think about him altogether, honestly?
I love Guy Haberman. Not the most interesting, podcast personality, but as a play-by-play guy, like he started off, I think, in the Bay Area, right? Like he was on 95.7, went to NBC Sports, then went to the Big Ten, right? He's moved around, but I've always thought he's a great play-by-play guy. He was insightful, like he was engaging with the audience. Like I thought he was super interesting, right? Like it seemed like him and Tim Ryan had a good rapport right off the bat.
Yeah, they did.
And you wouldn't have even noticed that it was his first time calling games for the 49ers. So I thought it was like really impressive. I thought he did a great job. He knew the players. He understood the situation. He paid homage to Greg Papa, who's a legend. But just going off like the bigger picture, like how lucky is the Bay Area? Like how lucky is the Bay Area that you can lose a guy like Greg Papa for a season and you can replace him with a guy like Guy Haberman. It's like you never skipped a beat.
Yeah, like you brought up, I think that it's not that he's boring. It's just that he's a pro's pro. Like he's an old school play-by-play broadcaster. That's why you kind of see that side of him on the podcast. But he also does have a personality. You definitely see that pop up a little bit more on the podcast. Sage, I don't know if you know, he likes Tito's.
He loves Tito's. Yeah, sponsored.
If you ever listen to the Haberman and Middlecoff podcast, you basically can't go 10 minutes, one podcast episode without knowing that they love Tito's. So also, big relationship with Papa. I don't know if you knew that. It's basically like a mentor-mentee kind of relationship. So you knew that there was a close relationship there. I bet you that Greg Papa had a hand in Guy Haberman getting that job, and it's going to be big for his career as well. So glad to see Guy Haberman come in. And we usually don't do this, Stage. I feel like we try to keep it a little bit, we try to keep it low-key. We try to have a little bit of fun here, but we're going to have a little bit of a serious moment. We brought up that Greg Papa has recently been diagnosed with cancer, and I'm going to say for me, he's my favorite Bay Area sports personality of my lifetime. I honestly think that he's the GOAT. I think he's the best of all time. He's been a play-by-play guy for every single major sports team in the Bay Area. San Jose Sharks fans, we're not talking about you. This is not your part of the episode, so don't worry about what I just said there. Sage, what's your take on Greg Papa and I guess just this entire situation?
I mean, building off what you said, right? Like, is there someone in the Bay Area as a broadcaster who has a higher approval rating than Greg Papa? Like you mentioned, he's called games for the Raiders. He's called games for the Niners, the A's, the Giants, even the Warriors. Everyone's loved him. He's made an impact everywhere he's gone. You saw when he left the Raiders, right? Like how sad their fans were. The celebration call that he brings with him is iconic. The touchdown, San Francisco. Like it's just legendary.
What about touchdown Raiders?
That's the thing, right? Like even
I think that's the better one.
Even as a Niners fan, like you can appreciate it. Like you just, you appreciate greatness, right? So Greg Papa, like we're going to miss you. It's sad. It's sad what you're going through. We're praying for you, brother. We hope you get back soon.
No doubt. And something that I will say, because it's weird, man. When you're listening to radio for about like 10 years, you realize that you spend about 4 hours with these guys every day. So it's basically like you're spending 20 hours a day with these guys. You get connected to them. And something that stood out with Greg Papa is that no matter what, you always felt like he knew more than anybody in the room. You always felt like he had the inside information on anything. And right when the 49ers were done with a game on Sunday, or when a news report came out on Thursday, the first guy I wanted to hear from was Greg Papa, because I knew that he probably had the best take on it. And not only that, Sage, I mean, him and John Lund on KMBR, and I think they were on 95.7 The Game as well. I'm going to go and tell a little bit of a soliloquy here, but they were two drinkers. I mean, you could tell the entire time during their entire show, they talked about how they like to drink on the weekends, have a good time, and they were just some great guys to hang out with. And something else that stood out to me is that they always got the best guest stage. I mean, if they were playing the Dodgers on Friday, they would have Vin Scully on the radio show. It just seemed like everybody in sports respected the hell out of Greg Papa. And not only did they respect him, but there was always some stories that he had about them interacting. And it just seemed like he was the best guy to hang out with. And honestly, was just a pro's pro. Like you said, he was on every single team in the Bay Area. He's great in the play-by-play broadcast. No one else I listen to in radio. And I think that nowadays you hear thoughts and prayers, right? You hear thoughts and prayers for this, thoughts and prayers for that. I think it's a little bit overused. But what I will say is that genuinely from the bottom of my heart, and I know Sage feels the same way, thoughts and prayers with Greg Papa and his family. Get back soon. We love you. Can't wait to hear you back on the call, Greg Papa. Man, Sage, that's my guy. That's my guy, man. Greg Papa. Fucking love that guy.
The one funny bit we got from this was, did you see when they panned to the booth and you see Haberman standing next to Tim Ryan? It was like David and Goliath. Just like
dude, Tim Ryan is a freaking beast, dude.
Just the juxtaposition of the two guys next to each other, I thought it was hilarious. Like when they first panned out from it, it's like you had Verm Glenn there. It was just like, just like like a monument of a man versus like Guy Haberman, who's like, I'd probably say like 5'6" maybe in shoes.
Yeah, Guy Haberman definitely making the rounds for Short Kings in Bay Area sports broadcasting. So from two Short Kings, Guy Haberman, we appreciate you, baby. Keep on doing your work. And let's get into the next point, Sage. I think that we're going to differ on this. I think that it's probably going to be the most polar opposite agreement or debate that we've ever had. But we had some updates coming in this weekend, a little PR dump by Jed York, the baby golden boy, and the 49ers. So they just completed a $200 million project to get some new renovations into Levi Stadium. We know that coming up this year, they got the Super Bowl at Levi's. I think they're also going to host 6 World Cup games. So, Sage, here are the changes. Here are the big brand new changes to give to the ever spectacular Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California. So 2 large brand new 4K video boards, new game day production control room. Sage, I don't know if this impresses you, the largest control room in the entire West Coast of the United States of America.
Consider me impressed.
Okay. And then improved Wi-Fi network. Okay.
Needed.
55,000 square feet of new LED boards with advanced color-changing LED field lights. And I'm sure that the common man could appreciate this. Renovation of the 120 premium suite stage. They said that they wanted to improve the overall fan experience when it comes to Levi Stadium. That's why these changes were made. Are you impressed?
For how much they put into it, I'll say this. I'm not impressed. Like, there's bigger fish to fry in this area. That, like, how about you want to improve the fan experience? How about you build like a fucking parking structure so it's not a nightmare getting in and out of your stadium? We can talk about that later. We could dive into what's wrong with Levi Stadium, what's, what they need to improve on. But I'll just say this, like, I do enjoy it. Like, call me a sucker for the theatrics of it, for the cinema of what an NFL game is to be, but it brings more of that, right? Like, let's be real. Have you ever been to a game, right? It's too open. Like, this kind of encloses it. You have those big boards, right? You kind of like have the light show, like it adds an intimidation factor. I kind of said like the Baltimore Ravens, you see it, right? When they score a touchdown, they like have the lights like fixturing on and off. It's intimidating, man. Like, you're going to have the red, the gold, the Sunday night games. Like, it's going to add another element. I do think it's a little bit insulting to the fans, but it is kind of how the fan base is gone now that your stadium's in Santa Clara, that you need these bigger boards to make your stadium a little more intimidating because your fans might not be as loud as they once were. I just think it's a W, man. Like, the stadium's shit. You understand that it's shit, and you're trying to improve upon it. Is there more areas to improve upon? Obviously, but I consider it a small W.
Okay. Say, just what I'll say, $200 million. $200 million for all these changes. Did you see the release party that they had for having maybe about 200 fans in one section of the stadium on a Friday night? I'm not going to blame the Niners as much as I'm going to blame the fans on a Friday night who decided after a long, hard work week to go to Levi Stadium and watch the fucking fireworks show for no celebration at all. I thought that was weak. I mean, if you're trying to really impress the fans and you're bringing 200 in and you're lighting up an empty stadium, consider me unimpressed. And Sage, what I will say is that you want to improve the overall fan experience for the stadium, right? For Levi Stadium. Make sure that 49ers fans actually enjoy going to your stadium to watch a game live instead of just, like me every Sunday, watching on TV. How about you put a fucking roof or a fucking enclosure or something to make sure that the 35,000 fans on the away side of the stadium don't get burnt to a fucking crisp every single home game? I mean, are we serious here, Sage? Are we serious? $200 million and you're giving me lights, you're giving me a control room, you're giving me bigger LED boards. Sage, the number one issue with Levi's is that half the stadium gets burnt the entire season. The entire season. If somebody offered me tickets to a day game at Levi Stadium on that side of the field, I would never go. Never in my life will I go if they don't change that. Just the fact they missed on that is crazy to me. How is that not the first thing you fix?
It's so I saw something where it's like they can't technically put a roof on it because of some sort of like Santa Clara restriction, but that's your own damn fault because you moved the team 30 miles south to Santa Clara or however fucking far it is. I will say, like, this doesn't improve the fan experience at all. Getting in and out of your stadium is still a nightmare. Spectating the game on the away side of the stadium is still a nightmare. And on top of all of that, of all these new stadiums, all these new renovations, you're still well behind the eight ball. So it's like, what did you gain from this? I get it. I do appreciate that they're trying to do something, but how about a new kicker, right? I don't need like a light show, but how about a new kicker? How about like an improved way to park my car so I could get in and out of that stadium without trying to, fight through traffic for 3.5 hours on a Sunday night? So it is a miss. The whole stadium's a miss. They're trying their best to improve it, but there's just sometimes you just can't save it, right? You can't just make chicken. What is it? You can't make chicken soup out of chicken shit sometimes, right? Like this is chicken shit, and there's no recovering from it.
What I don't appreciate is that we've seen this with Jed York the entire time since he's taken over. It's always these PR dumps, this bullshit. Sage, they're not doing this for the 49ers fans. This $200 million renovation was for the Super Bowl and for the World Cup.
100%.
That's literally what it was for. Think about the timing, Sage. Think about the timing. Why does it come this year? The stadium's been around for 13 years, it has a 2.7 star rating on the internet. It's a fucking joke. You're in the biggest land of innovation. You're in Silicon Valley. You got the best baseball stadium, I think, in the land with AT&T/Oracle Park. And you have what I think is the nicest arena in the world in the Chase Center. And Levi Stadium is a joke. Don't even get me started on the fact that you move a fucking hour away from San Francisco where all the fans are at. You have to try to find ways to improve the fan experience because the fans suck. Sorry, 49ers fans. I hate to say it. Levi Stadium, the fan experience there sucks. The fans in San Jose, just not the same. I mean, Sage, look back at Candlestick. The fans were way better at Candlestick. But I know I'm getting a little bit hyped up here, but it just infuriates me that you're not putting in this money that you've been making. Sage, number one in revenue the past 3 years, the 49ers are. And you're not letting John Lynch make key signings in the offseason. You're not letting him get a couple extra upfront cash so he can maneuver the salary cap a little bit to keep the window open. But you're going to give me LED fucking lights for the World Cup. Thanks, Jed York. How about this? How about you put a fucking Super Bowl winning team on the field because you and your family have been running the team for the past 25 years and you still haven't got that 6th Super Bowl. That's what we really want. We don't want LED lights. We don't want the board. We don't want the largest control room in the West Coast. We want a Super Bowl. Help us get that.
Chase, they say it's like putting lipstick on a pig, right? Like these LED boards, whatever they want to improve upon, it's not going to make the stadium look any prettier. The fans are clamoring for it, right? Everyone's pissed about it. It's like, we have what, 50 million in cap that we could have spent. No, like here's an LED light. Like, oh, you want an improved O-line? How about a improved Wi-Fi system? You want a better defensive line? No, how about self-checkout at the fan store? So it's frustrating. I mean, it doesn't seem like they're allocating their money into the right places. And like you said, this is all just for the show of it. This is for the World Cup and for the Super Bowl that they're hosting.
Yep.
So they want to keep being in the events business, the Morgan Wallen business, the Beyonce business. They don't want to be in the winning Super Bowls business.
No, they don't. And I don't know.
That's passion right there.
I think it's going to never be a situation until they win a Super Bowl where I'm pro Jed York. Ever since the Harbaugh situation, Sage, I've had a bone to pick with that guy. And, I mean, we'll see. We'll see, man. We'll see. But, all right, Sage, anything else on that topic before we head off into the next one?
No, I'm ready to move.
All right, so, Sage, we did have a happy anniversary to bring up for Bay Area sports fans. So you probably haven't heard any basketball talk in the past couple months, but Sage, it is the 1-year anniversary of Steph Curry's legendary performance. I guess you could say legendary last 3 minutes of the gold medal game in the Olympics, in the Paris Olympics last year against the French national team. A lot of people have been bringing it up. It's probably been, I think, the most remembered Steph Curry highlight of his career. When you think back to this game, first off, where were you at? What was the vibe? And just what do you think is going to be the legacy of this play of Steph's game against France in the Olympics?
So for the medal round against Serbia, I was actually in Hawaii watching on the beach. It was early in the morning. I was at breakfast. They had the game on. Everyone was rallying around it. Obviously, Team USA, you'd think like, how hyped would they get for a basketball game in Hawaii? People were around the TV. If you'll remember, that was the game. No one had it go until the fourth quarter, right? No one on Team USA had it going except for Steph. He kept them along. I think he had like 30 points in the first 3 quarters while no one else was doing anything. Down the stretch, it was him, KD, Book, and LeBron who stepped up, got some Embiid too, got some clutch buckets. I mean, the vibe's all-time high. Basketball Twitter is the most toxic thing ever. It takes something like this to unite everyone and have everyone on the same side. All these guys trying to benefit each other's legacies. So that's what I'll say is like the cool part of it. Then the gold match happened, right? And it all fell to shit because our guy, Steph Curry, has the most iconic Olympic basketball moment and one of the most iconic USA Olympic moments of all time. And he's the reason you win that game against Serbia. He's the guy who takes over down the stretch against France. But when you look back at the history books, you know what everyone's going to see. You know what everyone's going to say. LeBron James, Olympic and basketball MVP. And it just doesn't feel
Do you really
right.
think so? Do you think anybody's going to bring that up?
It doesn't tell that. Yeah, 100%. When it comes to MJ and LeBron, people point to this stuff. People do
Come
point
on,
to this
man.
stuff. When people compare LeBron and Steph, they're going to point to that. No matter what happened, the history books are going to say one thing, then the social media streams, what our eyes saw, and the magic that he created in that moment. Not, okay, passing out of a double team and immediately just getting the ball back. Like, no, we'd rather you shoot over 2 defenders than LeBron take a wide open 3 to seal this game. He hit 3 after 3 after 3 after 3. They were calling this guy the devil in French because they couldn't stop him.
Le Devil, Steph Curry.
Name Steph Curry. And you couldn't stop him. It was the greatest. I don't care about not being in the NBA. It was the greatest basketball takeover in the circumstance that I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, so this is what I'll say about that, Sage, because I get what you're saying, that the history books are going to say that LeBron won the MVP, which I think we all know is complete and utter bullshit. I can't believe it. We're going to dive into the nitty gritty on that a little bit later. But I think when it's all said and done, Sage, this is going to be the moment that we remember Steph Curry by. I truly believe that. I don't think for Warriors fans, it's not going to be my moment that I remember when it comes to Steph Curry. I'm going to probably point to that 2022 finals, that entire, unanimous MVP run in the 73-9 year. But yeah, this is the best international basketball moment of all time. This is the best Olympic basketball moment of all time. And I think that this is probably, in effect, the best USA basketball moment of all time. It beats anything that the Dream Team did. So it was huge. It was monumental. And yeah, I think that Steph Curry is going to be remembered by this. Do you agree with that or no? Because I don't know where you stand on that.
So I agree with everything you said there, to be honest. Like, there's nothing I could really pick apart there because I agree with it all. As a Warriors fan, you've been with him from start to finish. So this doesn't really hold as true. This is more like a I told you so, like a proud dad situation where you get to live your lifetime joy through like the experience of other fans, right? Like the whole meme going around is like, so this is what it's like to watch Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Absolutely cook.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I had a bunch of Lakers fans coming out to me. It's so funny they bring that up, Sage, because I think 3 of my San Diego State friends who are all Lakers fans texted me after that game and said, wow, so is this what it feels like to have Steph Curry on your team? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, it's probably been pretty fucking awesome for the past 15 years. I'm like, it's been my biggest blessing in my lifetime. So yeah.
Literally, like getting to watch this guy night after night for your team, hoist 4 trophies, right? And you just got to live it through all these other people. So I think that's what was special. Seeing him get his flowers like that, like everyone doing this after the game, how iconic it became, right? Like when he hit the shot, you see Carmelo Anthony on the court, like waving his towel,
Carmelo,
like all the different views of it, the way the bench ran around, and he hit 5 threes in a row, right? And just like time after time, they needed a bucket. The ball found its way to Steph, and you knew he was going to come through, beat all the allegations. And like you said, it has to be the most iconic moment because it's the only, I guess, U.S. Olympic basketball moment that's both like highlight worthy and it was under like excruciating circumstance, right? Because that France team was talented. You have Wembanyama, who God only knows what that guy's going to be 5-10 years. It's an iconic French team in France, right? In Paris. So I just think like the calls around it, who was on the team, LeBron, Steph, KD's last ride, the way that the younger, the Halliburtons, the Anthony Edwards, those guys were also on the team, like bridging the gap. I just thought like all around, just an awesome, awesome thing for American basketball.
Absolutely. I think there's probably also, we're going to look back on that moment and it's going to jumpstart like international basketball really being competitive because this was the first tournament where when you actually saw the USA team match up against other teams, you thought to yourself, okay, this is not for sure win. Like my entire lifetime, whenever Team USA has been stacked up like this, it's been a situation where no one is going to beat them. But it almost got to the point where even on a good Team USA day, they could get beat. So I think that's going to start a new age that we're going to see where Team USA is not going to be as dominant and we're all going to remember Steph Curry by it. But let's celebrate the Petty King by being a little bit petty and go back to that topic. So LeBron James wins the MVP of this Olympics. We now know that they did the voting before the semifinal game, which I think has to be the dumbest shit of all time. I mean, Sage, it's like doing a movie review before watching the last 30 minutes of a movie and you see what the ending is. It makes no sense. Why would you do the voting for who's the most valuable player of the Olympics before the 2 most important games of the entire tournament. So black stain on the Olympics for me that Steph Curry didn't win here.
It's just a flawed system. How does that even make sense? Right? Like what if
I don't know.
LeBron,
It's French. It's like European French kind of shit. They always do stupid shit like this. That's why they
At
rely
least
on us
look
to come
so.
in and save them.
Every year? Every time they're in some sort of predicament. Chase, I just from a basketball perspective, right? Let's not even talk about war and politics here. Like, what is the thinking behind this? I don't even understand it, right? Like the whole production
Laziness.
of it, the introduction video, what do you call it? The opening ceremony, trash, right? The voting system for your MVP, trash. The cinema of it, the theatrics of it, trash. Like if it wasn't for Steph Curry, this would be the most forgettable Olympics of all time. But because of this one man, what he did to the Warriors franchise is what he did to the 2023 Olympics or 2024 Olympics. Just saved it and made it something when it was completely nothing. So how could you even take it seriously at that point? Like, oh, we're going to crown an MVP before the medal rounds, right? Like that's just French culture, I guess. Like we don't care like when the going gets tough. We're just going to do it based on when it's easy, I guess.
We're just going to protest and give LeBron James the MVP no matter what he does. That's basically what it was. I mean, that's basically what it was. That's what it was to me, Sage. We've seen this narrative with everything trying to give LeBron the benefit of the doubt. You saw the bubble championship. Everybody's trying to act like it's a real championship. People are now coming out saying, we didn't want to be there. Daryl Morey saying that a lot of people in the NBA don't consider it a real championship. They're force-feeding the MVP to LeBron James. I can admit, when I'm biased, I am extremely biased against LeBron James, but I just feel like it was more of that. A little bit more home cooking for LeBron.
That's what it's always going to be, though. They're going to give it to one of the big guys regardless. They all stepped up, but it felt like it was his Olympics from start to finish. It was a storybook ending for what they wanted it to be. The outcome was predetermined, right? He was bearing the American flag, right? Like people said, like, we're going to tell my ancestors this was Christopher Columbus, right? LeBron with the American flag on the rainy boat. Like it just all made too much sense.
Yeah. Funny how he'll not celebrate the national anthem for America. And then he comes out with the flag, rolling America out into the Olympics, but he won't criticize communist China. Little funny how that works, LeBron James.
Chase, mini topic here.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on his golf journey?
He's shit. I mean, he's terrible. The swing is bad, dude. Like it's almost embarrassing for me. I mean, I'm seeing LeBron James. He has no control of what's going on with the Lakers. He's playing golf every day. He looks like shit. He's clearly just following the past 20 years of trying to be Michael Jordan, except he doesn't have any of the cool Michael Jordan. And for a guy who does not like LeBron James, I'm actually starting to feel a little bit sad for him.
Why do you feel sad for him? You're saying like he's losing it?
It's
like
sad. It's sad.
Like
this is supposed
like
to be like the best athlete of the 21st century, and he's damn near a joke at this point for me.
You're a clown. He was 6th in MVP voting.
Yeah, and he won the MVP of the Olympics. What have we seen? That you can't trust any of these votings because they're just going to give it to LeBron James. Also, one last point here. Make the Olympics great again. Sage, we just dissed on communist China a little bit. I don't think the Olympics have been the same ever since 2008. I feel like that was the peak for Olympics, and ever since then, it's kind of went downhill.
I mean, that's before social media was really a thing. Like, it was right on the precipice of, like, exploding and becoming what it is today. But it was just special because you were around your TV, right? You actually had to watch the Olympics to keep up with the medal count to see what the fuck was going on. Like, everyone knows. Do you remember? I don't even know what country the guy was for, right? Like, the shooter guy who, like, closed his eyes. Like, everyone was in their nice getup. Then there was just that one guy, like the assassin. I never watched anything. I just saw the clips on Twitter, right? Like I couldn't tell you what country he's from. I couldn't tell you his name. I couldn't tell you anything about him. 15 years ago, like that guy would have been an icon. That guy's on talk shows, whatever it has to be. Like now he's just meme. The 1 minute clip goes around and there's like a picture that you can Photoshop other athletes' heads on. And that's all that comes of it. So I do agree that it isn't peak anymore. I couldn't even tell you where the next Olympics is, where the Olympics prior to this was, because it just doesn't have its aura anymore. Ever since Phelps retired.
Yeah. I mean, you had the guy doing the shot. That was a meme. I think there was a guy where he was doing the pole vault and his dick got trapped on the bar and that knocked the bar off. So you get those memes and it still stays in, the culture a little bit, right? Like it stays in everybody's minds. But I remember in 2008, man, the Michael Phelps situation, everybody was wherever the closest TV was, they were waiting. At least I was. At least my entire family, everybody I knew was waiting to see what Michael Phelps, what that U.S. swim team was doing. And I think just with social media and sports altogether, you can't get anybody set on one thing anymore. Back in the 70s, you had about 4 channels. We weren't there, but that's what they're telling me. You had 4 channels, and it just seems like everybody's like not as focused anymore. So, yeah, the Olympics are a little bit sad for me, man. I just kind of wanted to touch on that a little bit.
We'll put on the hot seat. Who's hosting the 2028 Olympics?
LA.
Oh, that's right. All right. Well, we're going to make it great again, baby. Just like we did to America.
Are we going to go out there, boots on the ground? Are we going to, I mean, we could try our best to make the Olympics great again.
We could try it. We'll be out there. I think that'd be a fun one to get some interviews for.
Yeah, keep the eyes out. Follow us on TikTok, follow us on Instagram, and look out for our 2028 Olympics video that's going to be coming pretty soon. But, Sadra, I think that's it for me, man. We covered a lot of good topics here today. Maybe just a little bit of an intro into the next week. I think we're probably going to come out with a Thursday recording. We're going to do a list. At least I'm going to do a list. Sage is going to be the guy critiquing it. I feel like I've seen a lot of these lists coming out. The top whatever, the top movies of the 21st century. We're going to do the top 15 Bay Area athletes of the 21st century. On Thursday, we're going to drop 15 through 10. And we're going to have a little bit more information coming to you. I mean, Saturday, they're playing the Raiders, right? In Las Vegas.
Saturday in Vegas, baby. Yep.
Yeah, so we're going to maybe preview
stadium.
that a little bit. Everybody's dropping like flies. We brought up Jordan Watkins. He has a high ankle sprain right now. We had some other injury news coming, but yeah, we're going to really just update on you on whatever happens there. Hopefully the Niners can stay healthy through 2 more practices, Sage. That's crazy for me to ask, but I feel like I have to ask the football gods this. Just please, over the next 2 practice days, don't injure any more of my starting team.
Yeah, we might see like Jalen Hurd and Anquan Bolden out there Saturday at this rate. So who knows? Hopefully the team can just stay healthy.
But all right, Beep. Tell people what they can look out for.
You can look out for our TikToks coming this week. Recording. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We got new intro music. We got a new banner coming up. Hit the subscribe button. Follow us on TikTok. We're on Instagram, believe it or not. We're on Facebook. We're actually not on Facebook, but we're on Red Note. Shout out China. We're everywhere you need us to be. Follow us, subscribe, because please, it helps. If you like it, leave a comment, share it. That's the most important thing you can do. Share it with a friend. Let people know about the West Down and Bound Boys. West Down and Bound Boys. We're coming to you. Football season just getting started.
I mean, Sage, not the best way to tell them to follow a podcast when you fuck up the name of the podcast. But trust me, I've done it before too. But Sage, I mean, we're technically on Facebook, right? I mean, that's a meta platform. If we're on Instagram, does that mean that we're on Facebook or no? I don't know how that works now.
I don't think that technically works, but we could do like a joint account and then post from there.
Can we do that? That's something that we need to look into, but look out for that episode on Thursday. Great episode today, Sager, but that's going to be it for today. We'll talk to you guys later.